We're doing a split show today. There we go. Well, good morning, everybody. Notify everybody on Clapper. We are live. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I am your host. There we go. Get me to the chat. What up, chat? Kara, I did the post storm shuffle this morning is what I call it. I walked around my yard and I picked up all the sticks and then I went around my house and reset all the clocks. That's what I call it. The post storm shuffle. Because you gotta shuffle it around like and try not to step on the sticks in the yard and shit. Mhm. That's hey, the thing is crazy. What a crazy every other abode that we looked at that we were going to buy got hit by a tornado yesterday. We looked at 7 houses before we bought this house. The clapper creeps. Oh, crush. It had to happen on my birthday, buddy. I want to remind you off rip that oh my God, I was scared, yeah. I was at work, by the way. If he takes thing, got them going. Making money, honey. Afternoon, yeah. It was pretty crazy. It's crazy when it's on top of you. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing when you're because I have a great deal of empathy. So I watch Ryan Hall when it ain't us, right? And I have like I have think about this. I have family that doesn't watch social media. The NOAA and National Weather Service have basically been destabilized. And the only person that I'm aware of that's doing it right is Ryan Hall, which is a YouTuber. So yeah, you always hope it ain't your turn. UTC. And I didn't really make anything this morning, by the way. I didn't really feel like it. I woke up and brushed my teeth and you know, took the dogs on a walk, kind of scoping everything out. I didn't see any, like my neighbors had it worse or nothing like that. A lot of sticks down in the yard, so just picked up sticks. I gotta figure out something with my yard. Morning, Empress, Agent, Bob. Hey, Bob's here. Okay, we can start now. Did y'all see? It's probably in suppressed news, but did y'all see 36 blow up? So Elon's tanking everything is the gist of it all. Danielle. Yeah, like a fucking roller coaster. Hey, remember that chaos is the fucking point. Remember, if shit feels chaotic as fuck and like, wow, what? Understand, the last video I watched before I went live was Chris Valenti saying, you ain't gonna believe this shit, but Putin is gonna fucking talk Donald Trump out of this war with Iran. And all I can think in my brain is like chaos agent. Like he's just meant there to cause chaos. So I know everybody's all stressed out. Um, you know, it's been a stressful week when we can't even celebrate. Your boy is on fucking fire at work. That's right. This boy is on fire. Mhm. Like I had my best day yesterday, and I also got paid early, and I like couldn't celebrate. There was a fucking tornado, and you know what I'm saying? I just like got off work and sat here for a minute and was like, fuck, I gotta bed. I gotta bed. I gotta fucking get up, do it again tomorrow. Um, yeah, thanks. So I'm looking at a Mossberg this morning, trying to find out where to buy it. Hey, you can get into a 12 gauge Mossberg pump for less than $300. Don't bullshit me about home defense. Um, you can go to the Mossberg website and look up 12 gauge. Mhm. I saw there was one that was a mag-fed shotgun, and I thought about how ludicrous that is. Like, why does that have a fucking magazine on it? But yeah, I'm excited. I've never felt the need ever to protect myself ever. I'm perfectly capable of that, but I think I'm gonna go buy a Mossberg. And then yeah, everybody's congratulating me in the chat, and I'm over here like, yeah, I have to fucking protect myself. It's fantastic. Um, but I gotta make sure me and the missus. Hmm. And that is because we are doing it wrong now. And that is we are just continuing to let ourselves and members of our community get arrested. And remember that chaos and cruelty are the whole point. So I'm never advocating for violence. I'm only thinking defensively when I say stuff like I just don't know. Are we just gonna keep playing these fuck games? Are we just gonna let people keep getting abducted and kidnapped and trafficked and just let it happen? Like I watched one yesterday where I was just like, those people aren't service members, they're not police officers. These are not people you normally hire. They're like pirates. But here's ICE being denied access to their facility, or ICE denying elected officials access to their facility in Chicago. And then there's this ad that I'm sure everybody will want to watch about the homegrowns are next. Okay. I wonder if I can do that. What's See, there's not actually a close credit union. Forum, Centra, Everwise, Indiana members, bounty hunters. Yeah, well, yeah. I watched the video of the guy in Seattle. They're being paid like $1,015 a person, and the message went out to bounty hunters, and like bounty hunters are the people that have been deputized by the U.S. Marshals and are now ICE agents. And I seen them masked up with AR-15s. And I just wanna make sure that I continue to point out, as someone who grew up hunting and shooting weapons for sport, like my family bow hunted. We grew up with muskets, right? Um like we used to shoot bullfrogs with a 410, you know what I mean? Like, but never carry in public. My parents never carried a firearm in public. They were always locked in a gun cabinet, lock and key. We spent like one weekend a month, we'd sit around and just clean everything and make sure it didn't rust, which sucks, by the way. Having to fucking clean weapons in your own house when you're like a little kid. Oh, that fucking fuck that. I didn't fucking grandpa gave us this and grandpa gave us that. Why didn't grandpa just burn that shit? What the fuck? So I grew up in that gun culture. Like my parents were NRA members. We went to those meetings when I was a kid. For the record, I just want to point this out. When I was a small child, NRA meetings were about gun safety and about making sure that you have the correct tags and permits, and that you have that you bring the container for the guts of the animals that you kill, and that you're not leaving that on the side of the road or at a shove in where people push into bush. It did change. It got preachy. The message changed. The audience changed in the late 90s. But one of the things that I want to make sure that my message is, like, the NRA never talked about American on American gun violence. And the NRA props up a lot of these Republicans that are now cheerleading the violence against Democrats. I believe we're at 5 Democrats that have been arrested by this regime. Shoot cattails. Mhm. We had a bullfrog problem. So the 410 and the 12 gauge got a lot of work. And you can't miss neither, because then you muddy up the pond water and you can't see nothing. You got to hit. You almost got to knock them out of the water. By a cattail. If you don't quell your bullfrog population, you get a snake population. You don't want a snake population. You want to limit your snake population. You have to eliminate bullfrogs, or the snakes can hunt them at night, and they make a lot of noise too. So hey, this morning, by the way, we go back to TikTok. What's up with this TikTok ban? I want to make sure that we point out. Here's Lindsey Graham talking about a full-scale invasion in Iran. These motherfuckers campaigned on no wars. In 6 months, we are invading fucking Iran. Like, know that it has to get congressional approval, and hopefully that doesn't happen. That's the only thing they could do. Nothing else has worked. They can try to drag us into a war though. The Twilight Zone much, yeah. All right, I'm just gonna let you know now when Zoran Mamdani wins in New York. Yep. No thank you on the snakes. Yep. I grew up out in the woods. But my parents made such insane money that we spent time in the city. And my parents, they didn't act like they were from the fucking woods when we was out in the city. We didn't carry, brandish. And when I was on active duty in the Marine Corps infantry, you didn't carry or brandish either. And I was the tip of the spear in the most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history. Sure, we went to a range. Sure, I checked my rifle out and I cleaned it and we went to the range and then I came back and I checked my rifle back into the armory. We didn't carry it, keep it on us, or brandish it at all, ever. And that's how you know it's taking these jobs is by the people that, even though they don't have real bullets in their guns, they don't have the budget for that. They'll show up fully kitted out with a fucking mask on and an AR. And I just wanted to point out, if you're gonna run up on someone close range, why do you have a ACOG on? And that's how you know that they're not for real. Because if I was gonna be close range on everybody, like danger close, I'm ripping the ACOG off and just going iron sights. What the fuck are we talking about? I'm real close. Yeah. So when I see these homeboys get out of the truck and they're chest bumping into people with a rifle, and you're just like, nope, nope, that's not somebody that's ever done it for real. You're on. Hmm. It depends on what unit you go to. It's not about you, the individual. But here's what I'll tell you to make you sick to your fucking stomach. Okay? So one of the things that y'all have to realize, if I swear to God, if I wasn't infantry, I wouldn't be nearly as confident. If I had done anything other than the Marine Corps infantry, I would not be nearly as confident. But one of the things that I had to fucking decide as a young person is, how did you want to look back on your service? Did you want to look back on it and say you ducked it? Or did you stare down the barrel of it and go right to it, right? Um, the people that didn't do that, the people that I've met in my life that have joined the military and took this job because we're not going to Iraq, I'm not going to Afghanistan. I'm not going to fight in a war. Those are the exact people that get thrust into war. So that's the thing I try to teach kids at like a young age. Some of you are just going to have to fucking decide, and everyone else is just going to be on the team, right? But some of you are going to have to decide. Hmm. And generally, you can figure out who the Marines are on a football field because they are relentless. They don't know when to fucking quit, and all they know how to do is hit. If you've ever seen how relentless a pit bull is, that's like how a Marine needs to be. Okay. So I hope Uh, I hope none of our kids see combat, because it'll devastate a lot of people. One of the things that I remember very vividly about being shot at is that it was like life was in slow motion. And I'm not even talking about on active duty, dog. I'm talking on working armed security here in Indianapolis. I got shot up at a fucking Dollar General for 15, $18 an hour or some shit before I was on active duty. I think that I have had so much turbulence and fucking trauma in my life that it was just a fucking bump on a log. It was nothing. Neither was losing 100 pounds in 90 days, finding out your girlfriend's cheating on you, going to Paris Island and back. By the way, I did recruiting duty for 30 days. I'd lost like 100 fucking pounds. Came back to Indy. Um, it's crazy because it was a lot of that was Circle Center, and that's not even, they don't even exist anymore. It's because capitalism ruins fucking everything. But yeah, they don't send kids fresh out of boot camp to the front lines. No, that's not how it works. But what they do typically do is they typically will use National Guard part-timers first, see how they like it. Because if they go in there and they have any problems, they just send in the full-timers, and that should get sorted out real quick. Because there are people that do it every day, and there's people that do it every now and then, and you don't want to expend people that do it every day when you have millions of people that do it occasionally. Send in the part-timers, see what happens. If they struggle, send in the full-timers. hmm So I always thought it was hilarious having actually seen the rate of deployment between a active reserve unit and a active unit. Oops. It seems like making the decision to be a full-time active duty Marine was the correct fucking decision, because they're going to put a lot of time and training and energy into you because they're not putting you into a situation until it's fucked. They're just going to let the fucking part-timers handle the front end of a war. Yep. They send the Marines in when shit gets fucked up. When we need real firepower. So all those people that I knew growing up that are like, "Oh, I'm not fighting in some dumb war, I'm joining the National Guard." Or I'm taking this job in the military, I'm not going to the front line. And you're just like, that's a wild. Why would you? And this was before I joined the service. I always thought it was fucking crazy when you'd hear that somebody join the military to not go to fight in a war. And you're like, well, you think the place is safe to be, the safest place to be is inside the burning house. Okay, okay. But yeah, the rate of deployment for active reserve units is higher than active units. Mhm. And that means that non combat roles are going to end up in combat roles. Like, think of, if you really think about it, why would you want to expose your volunteer tip of the spear when you have a part-time tip of the spear? So all those kids that are like, I'm going to be in the National Guard while I go to school. Okay. Well, those are the ones that are deploying. Sending in like the Marine Corps infantry is escalation. People are gonna muerte. Some executive level decisions are gonna be made. No, Zeke, my recruitment into the Marine Corps is hilarious. So the day I decided to go, I seen a bunch of Marines in silkies doing a motivational run, and I thought I would rather die with like a few friends, with those core memories, than continue to do this capitalist bullshit, which is hilarious now that I think about that. And I quit my job. I'd say I worked two jobs. I saved up money, paid my bills, and uh, worked out all day, every day for over 90 days and lost 100 pounds. And the first day I went to the recruiting office at 3:48. I'm sorry, 3:28, which is still like 50 pounds heavier than I am now. All of the other offices were closed except for the army. And and the thing about it is the army was at the time was saying they'd give you $40,000 bonus if you took the ASVAB and joined the army and did, I think, 2 years at the time was like a $40,000. It turned out that you had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get it, and they didn't give it out at nearly the clip they offered it. At least that's what I've come to understand in my lifetime. Zeke said, recruiters do make it sound peachy for National Guards and other branches and not the Marine ones. Yeah. And so I already read that. And then when I was at the Army recruiter's office, the door was open and the recruiter wasn't wearing a blouse. He just had a t-shirt on and he was smoking a cigar with his feet up on the desk and he was blowing the cigar smoke. Okay, he had a fan that was oscillating on his desk and he would blow the cigar smoke when the fan was blowing the air out of the window so that his office didn't smell like fucking cigar as much. It's still stunk. I don't know what. It gave it some ambiance, to be honest. Um, and so when I knocked on the door, he snuffed out the cigar, put the ashtray in a drawer. I was like, that's a fire hazard. Just set it on the desk. I'm a smoker. And then he stood up and he put his fucking blouse on and he just looked at me and he was like, "You're a big motherfucker, bro." And I was just like, "Thanks, man." And he was like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "Don't you work for the car dealership and don't you work over here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You got jobs. What the fuck you joining the military for?" And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I work like a million hours. Fuck this." He's like, "Whatever." And it just so happened when he was putting his blouse on, I saw his forearm tattoo, and it was a fucking eagle globe and anchor, the big ass eagle globe and anchor on his arm. And he was in the army, yeah. Lots of Marines go over to the army for the cush life. Um, Clearly he's working fucking recruiting duty in Indy. Um, and so he showed me the double dog, and then he's like, you like to fight? And I was like, well, I went to Vegas and did the boxing thing for like 18 months. And he was like, oh, how'd you like it? And I was like, how'd I like what? And he was like, fighting. And I was like, oh, I love boxing. It's a great sport. There's a lot of tomato cans out there that aren't very like good. So it was frustrating. Mostly guys can hit hard, but they're slow as fuck and they absolutely don't move. And he's like, so you did well. And I was like, well, I didn't lose a fight. Look at my nose. Like, how the fuck I go to Vegas for 18 months and don't even break my nose? And he was just like, you should join the Marine Corps. That's what you should do. And I was like, okay. And he was just like, the guy's at lunch. And I was like, I saw that. There's like a sign on the door. And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, so I don't want to join the army, huh? And he was just like, nah, they won't use that. And I was like, okay. And I just turned around, like, okay. Like, I'm not joining the army then. And I went down and knocked on the fucking door. And it's the best story. It's just the fucking Marine Corps ladies. I don't make up the rules. I knocked on the door and I heard a window open. And I kind of stepped back like, what the fuck? Because the door didn't open, but I heard a window open. Anybody would have been like, and a pretty young thing in a red dress ran out to her convertible and hopped over the fucking seat. I mean, she had a lot of energy leaving. You know what I'm saying? Because she jumped out of a window, showed me no goods with a dress on, and then hopped over the door to get in her convertible and sped the fuck off. And I was like, what? And then the door opened, and it was my Marine recruiter, Staff Sergeant Schultz, straightening up his tie. And he's like, what's going on, brother? And the first thing he said was like, holy shit, you're huge. And he's like, how much do you weigh? Come here, get on the scale. And he was like, 328 pounds? What the fuck is wrong with you? And I was like, well, I tried to play football in college and failed. And then the FAA went on a hiring freeze. And then my mom married some guy that owned part of the Sands Casino in Las Vegas. And so I spent like 18 months out there trying to box. How'd that go? Terribly. I didn't want to fucking be there. Kept coming back. But I mean, he wanted me to box. Um, I'm just thankful nothing ever happened. Like, I didn't get robbed while I was out there. I wasn't out there enough. God, could have been so much worse. I only went out there. I mean, yeah, just a little afternoon quickie. Uh, but yeah, he put me on a scale, and I just told him like I'd gained a bunch of mass, and then I didn't stay in the gym, and it turned to fucking flab. And he was like, shit. And so I was like 328, and he was like, you got to lose 100 pounds to join. And I started laughing, and he was like, I don't understand why you're laughing. And I was like, I wrestled my entire life, and I never cut weight because I was always the biggest kid until I got to high school. And then I wasn't the biggest kid anymore, but I had to wrestle heavyweight anyway. So I was like again, I've told this story before, where I was like 220 wrestling kids that weighed 265 and throwing them around. Shit. I was 37 and 7 my senior year. Imagine being like 50 pounds smaller than everyone else and just destroying everybody, right? So, thanks, Zeke. So, when you made me lose track, don't compliment me. That's never good. So yeah, he was just like, "You got to lose 100 pounds," and I just started laughing because I had never cut weight before. And there are good ways to lose weight, and then there's fucking bad ways to lose weight, and then there's I didn't have the money, so I had to do the work. So just so y'all know, if you want to lose 100 pounds in 90 days, you can sip water all day long. Sip water. For breakfast, I would eat an orange. If I was really hungry, I'd eat two. I was going to the gym or running or swimming in the morning. One of those three activities, 6, 7 days a week until I was exhausted. And then I wasn't working, so keep that in mind. So then I would go home and rest. Generally, I would fucking nap. And then I would eat lunch, which was handful of greens, can of tuna, light mayo, salt, pepper, blah, 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 blah. Eat it. You need the protein in the green vegetables, the light mayo, salt, and pepper. You don't even really need that shit, but it helps. Um, no bread. And then I would generally cool out um, for like an hour, let your food kind of settle, and then I'd be back at it. So it'd be either a run or a lift or a swim, whatever I didn't do in the morning. And then I'd come back home and eat dinner. And generally for dinner, it was like a quarter of a head of broccoli steamed and a steak. No like dressings, none of that shit. So I was eating and I was eating a protein shake somewhere in there. But again, people buy the sweet shit that's pre-made. You don't buy that shit. You buy powder. You get much more bang for your buck. Um, but yeah, I was eating a ton of protein. I was working out like 3 times a day. And I'm a basketball player by nature, and basketball is a very active sport. So I'd play basketball if I was like bored, like I didn't feel like running anymore, or swimming, or lifting. I'd play basketball. I'd go to a wrestling practice somewhere. But you always going to weigh at the same place on the same scale. So that's one of the problems people do when they're trying to lose weight is they'll go to like 18 different places to get weighed. Well, that's stupid. Just wherever the easiest to reach scale is, whether it's in your house or your gym or your doctor's office, whatever. So you're getting weighed 4 different places. You should be getting 4 different numbers. It's just the way the world works. If you're not getting 4 different numbers, that's ridiculous. What the fuck? I hate when I go to take a sip out of my cup and nothing happens. It's like I'm broken. But anyway, so I ended up I don't know that I was in the dep. I don't think I did that shit. But I was on an open contract where I wanted air traffic control because that's what I went to school for. I wanted flight. That's what I went to school for. Those schools, if the civilian world's not hiring air traffic controllers or fucking pilots, neither is the fucking military. So those things hadn't come up. I was on an open contract. So by the time I got to MEPS, I was on an open contract. And I sat down in front of this gunny, and he was a redhead. I thought I was fucked. Like, oh, it's seven circle of hell type shit. Oh yeah, the guy that's determining what my fucking job's gonna be in the military. Yep, here we go. A redhead, a demon, great. And he was actually just like a really nice guy, and was like, "You got a really high score on the ASVAB. You could literally get any job in the military." And I was just like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Why are you, why are you joining the military? Why are you joining the Marine Corps?" And I was like, "I just don't want to be in an office anymore. I don't want to. I'm not a capitalist. I don't." I don't like working 2 jobs to survive as a renter. And he said the Marine Corps infantry needs smart people too. And I was like, okay. And he was like, you said you didn't want to work in an office. And I was like, okay. Like that's phasing me. And he was like, well, there's jobs within the infantry that aren't just being a 0311. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'm guessing you're gonna end up in one of those other jobs. And I was like, okay, okay. And I wound it up in one of those other jobs that requires you to do math and shit. So Avi, math for Marines. Um, I was a 0351, which is an assaultman, which doesn't exist anymore. It's just demolition and small rockets, which is hilarious because one of my favorite video games growing up was Bomberman. You know what I'm saying? So Bomberman 1, 2, and 3. I beat all them games. But they made this movie called SWAT, and it came out, and it completely turned me off to wanting, which is crazy given the situation we're in now. The fact that that shit came out, I came home, they made this movie called SWAT where they fucking turn on each other and shit, and I was just like, I don't want to be in SWAT. Like, look at us now. You know what I'm saying? Those things are not connected. You know, Bomberman. I fucking love Bomberman. Yeah, that was one of my favorite video games when I was a kid. And then they were like, hey, you're too big to be an 0311. We're not putting you on the front line. I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like a smart thing to do. And they're like, but you gotta have someone to shoot the small. You gotta have someone to shoot the AT4. You gotta have somebody shoot the Dragon. You gotta have somebody shoot the Jav. You gotta have somebody drive the tow truck. But yeah, the javelin is the fucking, which is hilarious. Do you understand? I was a 0351 in the Marine Corps Infantry, and all of this shit with Ukraine and javelins. Oh, my heart. That's my thing. Guided rockets. That's kind of like when I was in middle school, that was my favorite part, was building rockets and shit. Didn't y'all get to build rockets in science class in middle school? No? No? No, only one? Okay. I was a public school kids, so I don't want to hear none. We oughta be protesting this war. Throwing that out there. We not ought not to go to war, kids. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I mean, defense contractors are gonna make a fucking killing. You know what's hilarious? I've been kind of not posting shit, right? We've just been sitting here bullshitting. Do you want to know why we've just been sitting here bullshitting? Because I'm fucking mad. You know why I'm fucking mad? I'm mad because I can't find the videos. How is that not the top of everything? Hey, where are the videos? Nowhere? Come on, am I in the fucking Twilight Zone? Is it not that popular? Is not that people don't see it as important? Where are all the videos of the spacecraft that blew up in the dock? Jesus Christ. Well, this happened a few hours ago. That'll see Cece's teasing everybody. She said she heard that Dumpy Pants going to The Hague on the 24th. But yeah, huge protest in New York City. The protests are going to continue to grow louder, Don. Nippon Steel bought US Steel. $15 billion doesn't seem like that much money. There it goes. There's the first story I saw. It took 43 minutes of searching. Oh, see, I know. I know that there's like NATO meetings and shit. I know he's going to The Hague. I know that he's going there for a purpose. I'm just hoping he gets fucking arrested. Hey, by the way, when you see somebody standing with their fucking chest out and they got that body armor on and they're letting their rifle hang over the front of their body armor, all you got to run up from the side and kick them in the side of the knee and blow out their ACLs, and you'll never see that person again. They're gonna rethink the game. hmm Yep. These motherfuckers are out here with fucking non-lethal rounds and fucking paintball guns, and I'm telling you, I see ACLs hanging out everywhere, and I'm just like, clip that. Hey, stop throwing rocks. Stop bears. You know, the bear spray is good. I'm a fan of the bear spray. Okay. I need a little inside leg kick, outside leg kick. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they're standing up with their knees locked. Oh my God. Ruin his career. hmm One thing you're not doing is wrestling somebody to the ground and slamming them and choke slamming them and shit like they're doing with a fucked up ACL. You saw what was going on in Portland, right? They're already engaging ICE. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, but here's ICE arresting a U.S. citizen in a Walmart parking lot. And also, I like this too. Identify yourself as an officer, name your badge number, show me your warrant. Okay, calling the police. Somebody here impersonating a cop. That's pretty good. Here's Keg's breath. Major drinking problem. Being grilled as to whether or not he authorized the military to arrest protesters, and he apparently did not. July 17th will mark 5 years since Congressman John Lewis's death. 60 demonstrations planned as of July 17th. Hey, put it on your calendar. July 17th. I'm going to look it up. It's a Thursday. You can just trade a Tuesday for a Thursday off. I would love for Vladimir Zelensky to running Superman punch Donald Trump. That would be great. Or just pour blood on him. That would be awesome. I want I want blood on their hands as a visible. I mean, think about it. Donald Trump is the reason so many of Zelensky's countrymen and women have died, right? It's crazy. It's crazy to me that no one just pull the, it's like it's in charge, give me anxiety so bad. Yeah. Well, keep in mind they don't have the power that, remember, like Donald Trump can't declare war. Can't do that. Congress has to do that. And understand that if Democrats are quiet about this and they're not rejecting Israel and saying there's no goddamn way I support a war, hey, the reason they're not saying anything is because they're getting money from AI PAC. You know who gets a lot of money from AI PAC? Joseph R. Biden, Kamala Harris, Hakeem Jeffries. So there's a reason those people have not been very outspoken in that this is a genocide. Israel is an unfortunate ally. I am opposed to the war with Iran. You notice they haven't come out and said it. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The thing is they think, and you can put this they on just about anybody, but they think we will never be forgiven for what we've done, and we may have to go live in exile in Israel. And they think that that shit's gonna work out. And I'm telling you, as somebody who likes math, Israel picked a fight with Big Brother, and they're going to get their ass handed to them unless the United States steps in here. And I don't think it's worth saving. So yeah, you make sure, and keep in mind they're all invested too. A lot of the Republicans are invested in what's going on over there. A lot of people that you like have their money tied up in Israel, and they will protect their money. Mhm. Yep. Just remember that before we're gonna get off here and go back to TikTok. Okay. Morning, Crystal. Yeah, the bucket of blood. Yeah, that's what I was suggesting Vladimir Zelensky do to Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin when he sees him, is just pour blood on him. You got red on you. That's a Shaun of the Dead quote. By the way, the kids that I coached are coming to see me. Or at least I thought they were. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Tensions flare in Portland. Don't forget to join a union. Here's nokings.org/next. And remember, one of the most impactful things you can do here is stop being the product. And what I'm saying is stop going on Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Hey, Amazon, if you can help it. And forever, it's a conscious decision that I've just made, right? Instead of buying shit on Amazon, I'm just gonna what am I buying? I'm gonna go buy it from them. That's simple. And you're gonna save money. That's the best thing about telling other people to uh, stop shopping on Amazon is that you're paying a premium. And hey, they use the same companies to ship. Mhm. So we are gonna go live on TikTok and try not to fuck it up. I mean, I don't honestly don't care. What the fuck are you talking about, son? Well, that's who the fuck says that? You gonna meet me over here? Today's June 19th, right? Okay. Hey, we're live on TikTok. Hey, well, look at that. Good for y'all. But yeah, once you can cross the threshold of no longer using Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, Amazon, once you can do that, you're ready to go. Because then you won't have so much sitting around doing dick to do. And then you can get involved in a protest. Hmm. So yeah, if you haven't already, remember this is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Frequently banned from being on TikTok. Hmm. Yes, I have a potty mouth. Go Pacers. Most of all, control what you can control. Make sure you get 8 hours of sleep a night. Empress. Morning. So remember, this is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Since we're just getting back in the groove on TikTok, we want to make sure we, I, I show our support for people on active duty. I want to make sure I tell you how little I give a shit about war. The worst people in the world right now want us to go to war. And the people that you expect to be anti-war, that you expect them to come out and say, you know, I don't want any part of this Israel-Iran affair, actually. I kind of want to see Israel lose it. So instead, they say nothing because you got to remember every Republican elected official took money from Russia, and 100 Democrat elected officials take money from AIPAC. You know who's not coming out and saying they're anti-war right now? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are not coming out and saying, and even though I was a major recipient of AIPAC, I do not support war and do not want the U.S. military boots on the ground or whatever assets moved into position. I don't care. We do not support that. And the reason is because there's no good justification. Because I know there's people who are like, wait, why? No. Nope. So what do we do from here? July 17th, 5-year anniversary of John Lewis' death, by the way. I don't think we're celebrating his death. Hurricane Eric is at category 4, coming in hot in the Pacific. Go. I know I'm getting rolled. Yep. That was what threw me this morning, Cease, is that he did so good at hiding the video. When I first woke up, I saw it, and it was just like, what's going on? Hmm. Hey, good morning, Hugo. So yeah, make sure if you haven't that you join a union. I joined Working America. Make sure you keep up on our 5051.1. You can go to nokings.org. Okay. I am on part of workingamerica.org. A lot of people are joining the cause and they are like, what am I supposed to do with my hands? And it's like, hey, you got to stop being the product. Stop posting on Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Stop buying shit on Amazon. Support local business. That's what you should be doing. It's where your money should be going. They're going to need it. Yeah, it's still out there. I was just a little pissy at it being hidden because I had absolutely no trouble finding it. And then between waking up this morning, seeing that, taking the dogs out, and then starting the show, it's to start the show when I first got on to Reddit, it had all been wiped. And it took over half an hour for it to show back up. It was like front, it was like front page Reddit news. I mean, it's a huge story. For those uninitiated, space shuttle exploded on the dock in Texas. Massive fucking explosion. It's huge. It was a multi-stage explosion too. You see, there's a little explosion, a medium explosion, and a fucking big explosion. hmm And that's whatever broke, whatever was flammable near it, and the even more flammable object above it. That's why that was a three-stager. hmm Yep. And I don't take any joy in the failures of space. That doesn't is a fuel leak. Uh, Zeke said Hurricane Eric's in Mexico. I don't know. Who is our hurricane guy or girl? Do we have a hurricane girl? We need we need not Ryan Hall, but like who does Hurricane Eric? Who's doing that shit live? Oh shit, it's coming in the back way. That's not good. Kara said at least the Mexican government will take care of their citizens. Oh my God, this is too good. Go Baja. Yeah, we're still talking about Hurricane Eric. Yeah, I'm trying to find a live shot. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. AP, go figure. Yeah, yeah, it is. Here you go. There's a little link for you. They'll send them all across the border in the United States. I do. What? How did you turn a hurricane into some anti-immigrant shit? I just don't. We've been here for 5 minutes. Ugh. No, just it's like who are these people? Blocked. A lot of people are asking me what's next. July 17th, the 5 year anniversary of John Lewis' death. I don't know why we're celebrating his death. Why don't we celebrate his birthday? But apparently we're gonna march on his birthday. Check out our 50 or I'm sorry, 5050.1, thenokings.org. Make sure you're getting 8 hours of sleep a night. Make sure you hydrate, eat right, and exercise. Control what you can control, right? A lot of this shit that's going on, we can't do shit about. We can voice our opposition, but you might want to be careful because this regime will kidnap and torture and traffic you. So you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons. You know what I mean? Talk about snowflakes. You know what I'm saying? I remember getting told "fuck your feelings" for a long time, and now they want to silence dissent. They can't handle naysayers. That seems loose. You know what I'm saying? Is that like the best strategy to go around telling everybody they're fucking snowflakes and being unempathetic and shit? And then they're making fun of us. That's what this is? Hmm, seems loose. Yeah, we deserve better. What the fuck are we talking about? And I just want to point out that there are people that are okay with Trump fired most of the national security staffers, leaving us vulnerable. Why am I not surprised? Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. And I'm just being real. Like, you have got to be fucking kidding me if at this point you're still pro-Israel. Like, I feel like I wake up every day and I'm like, nope, still feel that way. Like, if you're still thinking like this is okay, what? What? Girl, what? Kamala and Biden. What the fuck? That's what I'm saying. I mean, you want your leadership to go to bat, but I don't want them just to go to bat for themselves or go to bat for their supporters or go to bat for just Americans. I want my elected officials to be magnanimous. I want them to have a big old heart and hate when violence is happening anywhere and people are suffering and dying anywhere. And the whole reason to, I mean, I can never imagine personally wanting to run for public office. Keep this in mind. Like, I'm not even fucking, did what? Hold on. God damn it, TikTok. Somebody posted anti-Netanyahu. Yeah, yeah. If there could be an existence that you could box me into, anti-Netanyahu. Abso-fucking-lutely. Are you kidding me? Did you know in 1996, Benjamin Netanyahu appealed Congress to try to drag us into war with Iraq? 5 years later, 9/11 happens. Hmm. Yep. And then here we are now. Benjamin Netanyahu, just in the last couple days, said if Tel Aviv falls, New York City's next. And you tell me we're helping that guy? Oh, hell no. What? But yeah, I'm not really sure what that. Gotta be careful on TikTok, man. We do have a John Wick situation brewing. I want to put everybody on. You know, he spent 30 plus years in global politics. So I expect that Joe Biden has some insight. Mhm. But I would love for Tim Walz. I would love for AOC or Bernie Sanders to come out and challenge other people and say, if you aren't getting in front of a microphone every opportunity you get as a public figure and saying like this is no bueno. What we're doing here isn't okay. What, we're just gonna keep doing it anyway? Mm, yeah. Stan with no bio. Oh shit. Continue to boycott, protest, and strike. This regime is vulnerable to protest. Hey, they lose their fucking minds if you protest. They can't stand it. The President of the United States federalized the National Guard. In doing so, he made them part of the military and can't order them around. And then also, he can send Marines to guard federal buildings, so he did that. But I mean, that's it. Just, just throwing that out there. If you think this is what winning looks like, I have I I have questions. The Tesla stock is tanking. SpaceX blew up on the launch pad. SpaceX shuttle blew up on the launch pad yesterday in Texas. So one of the cheesiest lines from a Marvel film when Thanos is having a flashback, or not a flashback, but he's kind of having a daydream, right? And I think she's asked, "Did you win?" And he says, "Yes." And she says, "What did it cost?" Everything. And that's how I see this regime is, think about it really hard. Like, they suck. They're terrible. It's hilarious. I know that they're bad people. They're also dumb. This is just dumb. So I think that any elected official, anybody that ever desires to have any sort of political uh, office, gotta be, I am opposed to war in all forms, especially when we're getting dragged into another war that we're not really in, not really our fault. You know, you know, there are 37 people watching us on TikTok. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Go Pacers. By the way, I think these things will be gone. Mhm. Two of them anyway. I get to see my kids I coach today. One of them's buying my Nintendo Switch. I have a limited edition Legend of Zelda. It's the white Switch. It's fucking sweet. I don't play it, and there's a new Switch out, and I was talking to one of the guys I coached, and he was like, "You gonna sell your Switch?" And I was like, "Well, let me look it up. It's a limited edition. They're going for like 250." And I said, "Give me 150 bucks, man. You have it. It ain't never even hardly been used." Deej said, "Go OKC." I don't know why. You ain't from there. You mean go Seattle Sonics? But yeah, I just want to point out Donald Trump's getting into put him down territory. He can't hold in his pee. He can't hold in his poop. He has dementia. Hey, I'm just letting you know, I had a senior dog that I had to fucking go put down. And you know what kind of led us to put him down, put her down? She couldn't hold in her pee, couldn't hold in her poop. She was getting a little fucking loopy and violent unnecessarily and shit. Uh-huh. Donald Trump's getting in that territory. Deej said I was raised in Oklahoma City. I thought you were somebody else. My bad. That's awfully convenient. Here's Israel going for nuclear reactors in Iran. Jesus, K. Rice. She said, "Go Sophie Cunningham." Who's Sophie Cunningham? Oh, she's an Indiana Fever player. Oh, yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about now. I don't know why. Yeah, Caitlin Clark's teammate. Yeah, Caitlin Clark. First of all, that foul on Caitlin Clark got upgraded to a flagrant two. So so after the game's over, the referees looked at a play and said that girl intentionally tried to poke Caitlin Clark in the eye. And Crystal Cunningham said, "How about no?" And ran and checked somebody, and then somebody ran and knocked Caitlin Clark down. I'm just telling you, that's how you know you're really fucking good. Like unstoppable. How there ain't really nobody that can fuck with you when you're healthy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Good for Caitlin Clark. Everybody deserves to have somebody that'll go to bat for you no matter what. And that people gonna have a real hard time fucking with you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make it real hard for you to fuck with you. Yep. Look at this shit. This is Elon Musk. Tesla stank. Tesla uh, stock is crumbling. SpaceX is having space shuttles blow up on the pad. Elon Musk is suing New York State over its anti hate speech laws. Hey, you gotta let me get it all out. Elon Musk X is suing New York State over social media hate speech law. JJ said Tesla stock has been crumbling for months. Yeah, yeah. You gotta let me get the whole bit out. Tesla stock is crumbling. SpaceX shuttles are exploding on the launch pad. Elon Musk is suing New York State over their hate speech laws. That's your guy. That's your free speech warrior. You don't have to apologize to me. You don't owe me that. Oh, you know what's hilarious? When I was on active duty, you know what we didn't wear? Face coverings. Like when I was on active duty, we didn't wear the balaclava. Hope this helps. I got cousins that are FBI, CIA, DEA, local police. Guess what they don't wear? Balaclava. Well, they're wearing masks because there's not that many of them. And once you start IDing them, their lives start falling apart. I keep telling y'all to play Mafia 3. There's another video game y'all need to play that I can't remember for the life of me what it is. But there's a video game about a cop's wife that kills herself and unalives herself. It's a video game. In the first part of the video game, you like go up the stairs and go down the hallway and like there's blood on the floor and shit. And long story short, the game is about how basically uh she couldn't stomach what her cop husband had done. So to all of you people out here, um, thinking about how crazy is it that all this shit's going on, you know what I think's crazy? The lack of very loud public divorces between ICE agents and their spouses. And then I keep thinking about how, oh, you know why nobody's speaking out? Because they left his ass already before they ever took the fucking job. So somebody said, why are all those ICE agents wearing masks? Yeah. You know, two states are gonna, I think two states. It might just be California and I'm making it up. But I'm pretty sure California is making a law banning law enforcement from wearing masks. Hmm. I mean, it's okay to wear a mask to like cover your mouth and shit because it's COVID, right? But the full face coverings, cowards. Only a coward would do that. Think about the psychology of feeling the need to conceal your identity so you can do your job. There's only two things I could think that you would probably want to cover your fucking face while you do. Being in the IDF and being ICE. Hmm. Yep, I could see wanting or needing or feeling like you ought to cover your fucking face when yeah, have a good day, Stacey. Those ICE agents are wearing masks because of the profound societal effect identifying ICE agents will have on communities. Because when you find out who it is in your community that is a part of ICE, dude, their life is gonna be horrible. So there's a reason they wear a mask. Hmm. Think about what makes you unemployable. I would say it would be you um, with your face uncovered on TV without a warrant, without probable cause, kidnapping and trafficking people. And here's the video. R- I agree with you, Carol. So what I'm pointing out is I woke up this morning thinking about this video game that I'd played, where in the first 5-10 minutes of the game, you go to a police officer's house and you go investigate, and his spouse is checked out forever. And there's blood and there's a note and there's this whole part where he had done some horrible shit and she had to live with it and eventually couldn't take it anymore. And I remember it was a hard video game to play because you're walking, you leave there and you're just walking. And I'm thinking like, man, huh? That's pretty horrible, right? Yes. They're doing something which is unpopular and disgusting within the public. Yes. Yes. And keep in mind, I want people to uh, demask ICE and identify those people and ostracize those people for being bootlickers. Those people are just following orders right there. You know what I'm saying? And it's you gotta make sure those people know they're wrong. And the thing about it is, you already know they're wrong. It only pays $23,000 a year. The fact that they're walking around with a rifle with an ACOG on it, pushing people. Why the fuck would you ever have an ACOG on your rifle if you're gonna get within 2 feet of somebody that is an adversary? What the fuck did you need the ACOG for? What was you gonna do? Right? Don't you just take that off and just use iron sights? You know what I mean? At least make it look like you're gonna use the shit. No, and again, it's not even that I feel bad. It's that I want their families to speak out. I want to hear their families say, "Hey, this shit is fucked." You know what? A considerable portion of my clientele are divorced women. Women that are like, I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to get out, and I want to get out of debt too. And you're just like, "Yep, yep, dude's gonna stay where he's at." But I think it's time that your families start outing them. Exactly, Carol. That's what I was kind of getting to. Morty said, Happy Juneteenth. Thank you, buddy. No, Happy Juneteenth to you. I am getting ready to meet up with one of the boys I coached. Maybe I have him take a picture since I don't see him often enough. Don't want your church fans to know what you're doing. Crazy world we living in. What's up, Pam? Oh, baby. Here, TikTok. Say hi to my Pam. That's Pam. YouTube. Say hi to Pam. Sugar pie, honey bun. Yes, that's the TYT. hmm But yeah, I think the story of the day, in my eyes, Hurricane Eric, big story. I still think the space shuttle explosion on the launch pad is a big story. That normally these would be big deals. And because of Elon Musk and Donald Trump's connection to the media, they have managed to downplay what normally would be like a big deal. When space shuttles are exploding in the sky, and think about it, this is like the third or fourth one. I just, is it Panda Pam? So I appreciate you. Remember, you got to control what you can control. You cannot let any of this overwhelm you. I know that these people are fucking awful, and every day they wake up and do something even more incredibly stupid. Come on, movie. Yeah. Hammer ding dong. What's up, baby? Okay. So hey, keep your chin up. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see y'all tomorrow. we can go ahead and celebrate that